Oh, it's been a while, but I'm happy to be back officially making videos. Haven't sat down and filmed for y'all in quite a while. Been doing some spooky shorts, cartoon conspiracy based more than anything. But today I really want to sit down and just talk with y'all and talk about the Blair Witch Project again.
I hear him downstairs. Come on! I hear him downstairs!
The Blair Witch Project will go down as one of the greatest movies in cinema in history, putting found footage on the map and petrifying, scaring, ruining a whole generation. In my opinion, one of the greatest things that this movie does right is that it never shows you the witch, the villain, the monster, the blah. We only hear about it through testimonies and stories and legends and everything else that the movie gives you. But throughout the whole movie, we never see her. The film is presented as a mockumentary-style found footage piece, following 3 film students, Heather Donahue, Michael C. Williams, and Joshua Leonard, who ventured into the Black Hill Forest near Burkittsville, Maryland. Their goal is to create a documentary about the local legend of the Blair Witch, a mythical entity said to haunt the woods. Now, before I continue, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and grab some snacks, turn down the lights. Let's have a spooky good time. This movie does a lot of things right. Now, let's be honest, I'll be frank. Does this movie hold up today? I don't think so. Back in the late 90s, technology was still kind of being blended into our culture, into my culture, into my generation. So viralness was actually viral. Compared to today, you post a video of somebody falling and eating poop or something and they'll go viral. And this is one of the main reasons why this movie worked, why the Blair Witch Project actually has so much success, was the marketing.
Yeah.
You ever expect it to be this big? Obviously you didn't.
No, I was kind of expecting maybe to have a copy of it on video.
Right.
Me and a bunch of friends would sit around and watch it.
Right.
You know, like, oh, look what I did. Wacky, huh? You know?
It was hella groundbreaking for its time. Remember, late 90s, the internet was still pretty young. Viralness was young. Social media was almost non-existent. But yet, they made mockumentaries, false documentaries with false interviews and false story and lore and all this stuff to push the narrative of this movie. It created a website a year before the movie was even released. It created a website. It's not like today you go to a Wix.com or Squarespace and make a website and boom. Back then you kind of had to put a little bit of science, a little bit of brain behind it. They created a whole website a year before the movie was released. It presented the Blair Witch Project as a real folklore, like an actual real legend. It had fake police reports. It had fake interviews with fake testimonies and fake tears and fears and all that stuff. They took the main characters of the movie and made them a missing poster, and they posted it all over Hollywood, all over downtown LA. I remember seeing this. Young Leo was seeing these missing posters all over the city. They also recovered the evidence of the footage and journals, entries, all this stuff. Many people in the 90s really thought that these were missing people. There was a witch in Maryland, and we actually found their footage, and we're about to watch this, embark in this freaking journey that's gonna ruin our lives. The Blair Witch website had actually 20 million visitors before the movie was released. Unprecedented for that time. Now let's talk about the actual footage. It was presented as found footage, missing footage. They found this footage.
I have no idea. Well, you can't laugh in the creek either.
The actors of the movie, the main characters, couldn't do any press for a while. And this was done so they can present the illusion that they were missing. And the best part about this movie is the word of mouth. Literally, talk about gossip and gossiping. This movie became the talk of the town. I was around 7 years old when this movie came out. And I will never forget that every time we drove by this movie theater on our way to school, there was a line wrapped around the block just to go see the Blair Witch Project. And the talk of the playground, being 7 years old, was about this movie being found footage. Is it real? There's a witch. They went missing. You know, the teachers were talking about it during class. My brother was talking about it with his friends. I think they even snuck away and went to go watch it. Everybody was talking about this movie because of what it did. Now remember, we're talking about a young social media generation, a young social media world where internet was young, barely any media, barely any this and that, and everything we got our any source that we got our information from was almost viable and reliable. Again, I was 7 years old, so I don't know, but I will tell you, as a 7-year-old, just the talk of this movie really scared me and gave me nightmares. And the fact that there was this buzz and there was this word of mouth and this talking of, is it real, is it not real, it kind of created this forbidden knowledge kind of attribute and feeling. People felt like they were discovering something that they shouldn't have discovered, that they watched something that they shouldn't have watched, that they're kind of violating people's privacy and even their lives, their last moments and minutes or hours on this earth. Now, everything I've said is awesome about the movie, but the greatest thing that this movie did right is that it never showed you the witch, the monster, the villain, or whomever was there with them in the forest. There are many scenes where you kind of get goosebumps, especially the scene where they're in the tent and they're trying to sleep and they start hearing voices. And, you know, like that scene, wow. Of course, you're like, well, I've seen that before. Yes, you've seen it before because the Blair Witch did it first, and a lot of more movies just copied it. It's one of those movies that just, you don't understand that a lot of your favorite horror movies that are modern kind of took it from the Blair Witch. Of course, there are exceptions, so don't quote me that every horror movie. I don't want you to be mean to me in the comment section. But yes, I do believe that the best thing this movie did was never show the witch. But there's a story of the panning to the left, where one of the actors was so scared and petrified that they forgot to pan the camera to where the witch was. Now in the scene where they're in the tent and they're trying to sleep and they start hearing voices and they start hearing kids and all that stuff, and you see the main characters run out of the tent. Yeah, that scene was scary. Apparently, the directors told them that they're gonna put their tents there and they're gonna sleep there. Now, then, in the movie, during the film of the movie, they really didn't have any much contact with the directors. All they did was the directors would leave letters and notes underneath rocks, and every checkpoint, they'll look at it, they'll find them, read it, and they'll just have to act it out. Now, they didn't know this was gonna happen that night. I'm guessing they had an idea that there was gonna be some kind of witch, and you have to do this and this and that. Who knows? I don't know, but I love this kind of lore. But where I'm getting at is that when they start hearing the kids, the directors put a boombox and they played, and that's how you hear the kids, and they're the ones going around and touching the tent. The main characters see the tent and they're like, what the heck's going on? And they get out and they start running. Now in this scene, you see that the main character, the girl, is running. She's running. She's like, oh my gosh, what is that? What the F is that? What blah 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 is that? And that moment when this happens in the movie,
Oh my God, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
the cinematographer had to pan left and point to where the witch was supposed to be, but the cinematographer was so scared of what it was seeing, he was seeing that he didn't pan. He just was focused on Heather just running. I think that is so cool that a mistake made this movie almost untouchable. It was a mistake. The cinematographer was so afraid of what it saw that it was petrified. It couldn't pan left. Heather was screaming, what the heck is that? So I'm guessing they didn't know there was gonna be a witch just standing up there screaming, going, whatever it was. I don't think so. And it really scared them that they couldn't follow directions of panning to the left, or they just forgot to pan to the left, and we never get to see the witch. Now, in my interpretation of what the witch was or is, you know, we've seen sequels to the movies and other movies about the Blair Witch, but let's talk about the toys. Now, there's a bunch of toy collections out there. I remember being young, Sam Goody's had these Blair Witch toys. That's my interpretation of how the Blair Witch was supposed to be seen or exposed to when they had to pan left, but since it didn't happen, we never saw how the witch looks like. But these toys might be the closest thing that we may get the interpretation of what the witch may have looked like. We were supposed to see something, a woman, a figure up in the distance in white, but the cinematographer, being Heather or somebody, just couldn't pan to the left. They forgot, they were scared. Oh, so good. I just want to say that these happy accidents or these errors is what made this movie amazing, is that we don't get to see the witch. I remember as a kid, after I watched the movie, I didn't watch it in the movie theater because I wasn't old enough and my parents were like, hell no, you're gonna watch this movie. But my brother and his girlfriend at the time sat my sister and I to watch this movie on cable. This was probably maybe a year later, I don't know if they paid pay-per-view, whatever. And we saw it, and when the movie ended, I was like, oh, what did I just see? I was probably 7, 8. I was 8, maybe it was a year later. I was very disturbed of how the movie ended, where, you know, you have the person facing the wall, Heather screaming, and then you hear go slap, camera drops, and then it just ends. And you're just like, what in the world did I just watch? And as a kid, you're just like, what? I didn't see anything kill them, so how are they dead? I remember that same night I went to sleep and I had a nightmare, and I had a nightmare that I was being chased by a witch. Crazy, dude. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I love this movie. I think this movie did so many things right for what it could with the budget that it had. It had like $60,000, I think. $60,000. I just confirmed right now on my computer. But it just really just blew movie found footage out of the water. It put a good marketing scheme on the map, and honestly, word of mouth just made this movie what it is. I hope you enjoyed this movie and this breakdown of probably one of the greatest scenes in horror movies. If you like these type of videos where I break down certain scenes or moments in horror movies, or maybe even cartoon conspiracies, let me know. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to his YouTube channel, tell your friends about this channel, let them know that I'm back. A lot of shorts have been uploaded, so go check them out if you like cartoon conspiracies. And if you want me to do more full formatted video of cartoon conspiracies, let me know. Love you guys, God bless, stay awesome, stay out of trouble, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!